And the tickets, she grabs them. I'm excited we're going to see the movie, but my mom paused me. I grabbed my shoulder. Until this day, I can feel her hand on my body. And she says to me, your faith is so grand. I've never met someone with such a strong faith. You see it in entrepreneurs, in business owners, that they have this power of belief, but they take it into action because remember that faith without action, it is said that is dead. And I believe so. The more you practice, the more you train, the more you take that risk, the more you take a chance on yourself, the more you take your faith into action, not only your power of your calm will grow, but your ability to look like you have superpowers. So welcome. We are just right now cleaning teapots, cleaning teacups. I already have the tea on the teacup. We want to make sure that the temperature for the teapots, teacups is good for what we're going to do. And also, you know what? I like to prepare the cup. I would like to clean the cup, like clean our mind. You know, there's a saying that empty the cup. And how am I going to learn new things? How am I going to have new wisdom if my cup is already full? So I love to practice. This is called Cha Dao, the way of tea, the way of flow. I like to practice this because not only, it looks really spiritual and fancy, but for me, it's a way that I get to sit down all my fears. I get to sit down on my doubts. I get to sit in the chair like meditation. I got to sit all of the things that are noisy in my mind, and I got just to focus on the tea, on serving, on pouring, on the movement, on the flow of what tea ceremony is. So I'm going to create a little cup here. You know, I have so many teapots and teacups, and I don't know if we're going to film that, but, you know, above me, I have a whole collection of teacups and teapots, but my favorite one is this little gal. It's a purple clay. I found it in a thrift store for like $1.50, $2 with tax. And this is such a good example for me of what life is about. You know, sometimes we have to thrift things. Sometimes we got to let go of things, of our thoughts. And I just think it's super symbolic. And I have also a very nice tea here that we're going to enjoy. So we're gathered here today in my tea ceremony table to speak about faith in action, to speak about being the calm in the midst, not only of the storms. You know, I am currently doing a program called 21 Days of Faith in Action, a pilgrimage, online pilgrimage of faith. And I was telling them that nowhere, no other time in the history of humankind have we had so much global chaos. Before it was like, you know, localized chaos. We didn't have internet. We didn't have news. You know, it was a tribal thing. You will learn about the chaos of the other tribes by word of mouth, which became gossip. But right now with social media and with all the things going on in the world, especially the political circus that is all around the world, it's not only Mexico, it's not only the United States, it's not only El Salvador or Venezuela, it's global. So we are in a time in humanity where chaos is global, but the call to action for taking our faith into higher levels is very important. So but first tea. So we are in a time in humanity that the mastery of our nervous system is not only a woo-woo thing. It's not only a fancy term. It's not only for our psychological wellness, but for the psychological wellness of the collective. We have a duty as entrepreneurs, as teachers, as mothers, parents, partners, friends, workers, whatever it is, we have a duty to learn not only how to navigate these times, how to adapt. Many people, many entrepreneurs, mindset trainers speak about the power of adaptation. But now I think our call to action is for more. We have to refine to up-level even the game of the nervous system, the inner game of beingness, to tap into spirituality in a way that we can really master our lives. And in a way that we master our lives to lead. Because our leadership right now is not a fancy term for business. It's a way that we can actually help others not only succeed, but also maybe survive. So we have this situation. So for me, in my life, faith has always been a propeller for every single thing I do. When I was really young, my mother introduced me and gave me the gift of faith. I was really young. I went to a movie theater with her, but it took me a while because my mom said, we cannot go to the movies. The movies are sold out. The tickets are sold out. You got to, we got to wait. And in the days where I went to see the movies, you had to do, they would sell the tickets again afterwards if they were sold out. You didn't have internet, so you have to pay like triple the price for that. And my mom, I convinced her, the insistence of children, like they are the best salespeople in the world. Children know what they are selling. Out of desperation, I think parents say, yes, okay, you can have it. Well, my mother said, okay, we can go to the movie theater, but there's not going to be tickets. But something in her believed in me. And it was her, myself, my brother. She was a single mom. She had multiple sclerosis. So imagine, now that I'm older, I imagine how challenging it was for her. But to keep a fort that it was strong. As parents, sometimes, even though we're suffering or bleeding, literally feeling to death, we are going to show up strong because we have little ones to lead and to guide. And she took us to the movies. And when we arrived, immediately, a gentleman came running saying, hey, lady, I have 3 tickets. I got to go. And my mom said, she was in the car. It was like a very quick, very short. And I'm thinking she doesn't have the money for the resale that he's going to do. And she says, how much? She just opens her little window of her little car. And he said, nothing, just take them. I have to go. And the tickets, she grabs them. I'm excited. We're going to see the movie. But my mom paused me. I grabbed my shoulder. And till this day, I can feel her hand on my body. And she says to me, your faith is so grand. I've never met someone with such a strong faith. And so that created a neuroassociative condition in me that created an impact that I did not know, but now I know that was the greatest gift my mom gave me. So faith really became a fuel. It didn't become very conscious until later on in life. But faith was such a grand aspect of me. Everything I move, breathe, eat, that component, that gift that my mother highlighted was part of my life. And one of the main things of faith, and I'm talking about faith, and we're going to talk about action and the calm during this little tea ceremony that I wish you were here, that I'm going to be enjoying tea. This is going to be an interesting video because I'm still going to be drinking tea. Like the chefs that cook and then taste their food, I'm going to be drinking tea. It's delicious. It's an oolong. Anyway, so that faith in action has propelled me in everything in my life. It has helped me take risks. It has helped me come back after loss or recover after breakups or breakthroughs. You have to recover after a breakthrough too, not only after a breakup, because when you have a breakthrough, it's like, now what do I do? My old self wants to come back and you cannot return to the old. And so one of the things, that faith took me to a lot of opportunities. And at the age of 17, it brought me an incredible opportunity to adapt very quickly. That gift my mom gave me. I was in a car accident, in a near-death experience, where I literally, physically lost this arm. If you cannot see it, but maybe a little bit in the camera, I cannot move it completely. I cannot move this hand. I have metals all over my body, my right arm and on my left leg, but my arm was completely detached. Doctor, based on that experience, on that incident, not accident, they reconstruct the arm. But I remember when I was in that car, in that incident, inside the car, trapped without an arm, the leg, but I was fully conscious. I knew that I had another opportunity to live. I didn't have to second guess. I didn't went into panic. I just went immediately into solution-oriented mode, adaptation mode, and I felt the energy of faith in there. And I took action. I immediately, even if I couldn't move, I began to tell my friend who was in a little bit of panic. You can imagine she was driving. I mean, God bless her soul, seeing me all chop into pieces. It's like a Lego that you built and suddenly is no longer there built. So I can imagine the shock for her. But I remember taking the action of telling her, we're going to call these people. We're going to call an ambulance. Please take the papers of the car. Please do this. And to the ambulance people, actually directing them where to take me. And now that sounds like superhuman, but no, it's actually the act of faith. I believe that faith gives us the energy, the spirit, to really bring into our resources more clarity. It actually, I don't know if you knew, but having faith, having hope, being with a positive mindset and adapting activates something in our brain called, in our nervous system called the parasympathetic nervous system. It releases dopamine and oxytocin, the cocktail of happy, of adaptation, of solution-oriented. It calms down our amygdala, which is the center of fear, fight, freeze, or flight. And it really begins to release clarity from our prefrontal cortex. So the biology of faith behind it, the science of it, it is really powerful. Now, the challenge of faith these days is that it's trapped, the concept, as a concept, faith is trapped in religion. Many people tell me, oh, your faith in action. So are you a Christian? Are you a Catholic? Are you a Jewish? Are you? I'm like, I could be that, but still my faith transcends all of that. The moment that you try to trap faith in religion, you have trapped your potential. Because the moment you define faith as only this and not that, you have limited the unlimited. You have lost contact with the infinite divine intelligence, with infinite divine spirit. That's where the supernatural that many people think will happen. The breakthroughs, the illuminations, the integrations, the ability to tap into the numinous, the silent that speaks to those who listen, the rhythm and the whispers of, call it God, call it spirit, I call it God, but this is the field of faith. I truly believe that faith is like a surfing board. It's like the teacup. The infinite grace, the blessings of life, what you have learned, the wisdom you have received, it needs a container to be poured into it. And so I pour the tea that I boiled from this teapot into the teacup. And faith, is containing this. Even though you cannot even touch the water, you can get wet and everything, but you cannot hold it. It's not solid. Even if it becomes an ice, eventually it will melt. But what held it? The emptiness of space, It's an empty cup. It's a surfing board. It helps me contain, sustain, and take action upon that which I do desire to manifest. So this is really delicious, everyone. So that's one aspect. And, so for the fullness of my life, I have witnessed how the transformation of people, when they have a little bit of faith, not in something external of themselves, but they start believing in themselves. They start rekindling their relationship to God inside of them. They start rekindling their relationship to hope, to actually believing that anything is possible. Someone in the 21 Days of Faith in Action movement that I hold, and that I'm writing a book about it, by the way, and about faith in action. She said, if I were to be doing these days with you, 21 Days of Faith in Action with the community, it was 21 years, I would feel that anything is possible for me. And I said, it is. But because our minds are so focused on having something external proof, we have created duality. We have externalized God as a concept. We look at the sky and pray to a God that we imagine it to be white or black or blue eyes or dark eyes. We put it as an object instead of a subject, an internal subject that is emanated from within. And so we create so much separation. And I noticed that when you help people have the total cognition of their faith in themselves, they begin to rekindle that which has never been lost, but they just begin to find that connection with the infinite spirit, which is also the rhythm of natural law. This has helped me in my life in everything, creating programs. We have created hundreds, if not thousands, of online programs already, businesses. It has helped me with every single what people call the dark night of the soul. Divorces, disease, diagnosis, the failures that I've done, the mistakes that I've done, this faith, this connection with this something greater than just the me, mine, I, has helped me always come back or return a little bit more wiser, hopefully each time. Not only older, but wiser is a prayer that I have. I don't want to just grow up older. I want to grow up a little bit wiser every day. So this is the journey of faith into action. And this has helped me write many books that as I see them, I'm like, I would like to rewrite them again. But it was another stage of my life. But now with maturity and understanding that faith is really like chemistry, is God's chemistry, is so powerful. You see it in entrepreneurs, in business owners, that they have this power of belief, but they take it into action because remember that faith without action, it is said that is dead. And I believe so. And now what type of action? It has to be an action with presence. It has to be an action with purpose, because even my puppy that is around here, he can take action of chasing his tail all and on and on and on, and he is not going to go anywhere. But we want to take our faith into action with purpose. So one of the main things that happens when you take your faith into action, and because you release this dopamine, you release this oxytocin, the biology of faith, right? But the other thing that happens is you activate, and this is in another one of my new books, calm on command. You literally begin to train your central nervous system like I train my pouring of the teapot into the cup to be calm, to be melodious, to be elegant, to be harmonic. Not balanced, but harmonic. And you begin without noticing. You can be hectic. You can be solving problems. Your kids are yelling. Your wife is telling you something. Your husband needs something. Your friends. There's always going to be chaos in this planet. There's always going to be storms that we're going to require to face. But the more that you practice this faith, the more you take it into action, your resilience immediately grows. Your confidence grows that you are capable of solving problems, and your calm activates on command because your nervous system begins to be trained by you. You begin to know what type of fuel your body needs to be in alignment with that which you do want in your life, with that infinite divine spirit, with that infinite divine grace. And so all of these things of calm, of faith, of having a practice like this ceremony, of having a practice like meditation or breath work, or maybe you like to sing, or maybe you like to go for a walk in silence, or to go for a run, or to go to the gym. When you use all of those practices that you do to train your nervous system, to train the muscle of your faith to be stronger, to believe deeper in yourself, and to connect to infinite spirit, because I want to tell you, even those who don't believe, you are not believing in that which is non-existent. And what is that? Is the infinite. There is nothingness. So that is great. So the more you practice, the more you train, the more you take that risk, the more you take a chance on yourself, the more you take your faith into action, not only your power of your calm will grow, but your ability to look like you have superpowers. People will say, like, what is it? What is the power within that person? There's some confidence, the conviction that is so rare to see these days. Let's talk about business. In business, you can tell people that are nice from people that are real. And when I say nice, I'm not trying to be diminishing of anyone. But most of us all, not all of us, try to be nice because we are, we're keeping ourselves distracted from being the real us, the real me. We want to appear to be something that we're not. We act like chameleons and we're trying to sell, right? We're trying to survive. Instead of selling to serve people, we serve just to sell. There's always a hook. There's always a nitty-gritty kind of vibe. But in business, if you begin to practice the act of conviction that I believe I can help people resolve a problem, I believe I can help them thrive, I believe that I can solve this situation, the more you practice that act of self-belief in a purposeful way, and you add others. For me, like when I was in the car accident when I was 17 years old, I truly believe that one of the main reasons that I was saved, not only infinite spirit and God, and not only, miraculous really happening because we could have been dead, was that I never thought of myself. I thought about my friend. I thought about my parents. The strength, the force in me it was bigger than just me surviving. It was like, I don't want my father to suffer. I don't want my mom already has multiple sclerosis. What if, like a daughter without a leg, not walking, without an arm? My friend was not waking up. So when you, in business, when you put your mindset and your faith into action for the purpose of serving others, solving a problem, adding value, that niceness begins to disappear. The realness begins to appear. And that conviction in yourself, that power of faith becomes what people think like, wow, he or she is so confident. That's in business. And that transfers for every single area in life. Relationship, your faith, your finances, everything you do. And so this is a little tea ceremony video that we're doing to talk about faith, to talk about the calm, to talk about business, and to hopefully inspire you, not only inspire you or motivate you, because motivation is like an aspirin. It's just temporal, and it has to come from within you. Nobody can give you motivation or anything. But release your faith. Don't keep your faith trapped into dogma, religion, or tradition. Use it. There's some useful parts. I mean, I was raised as a Catholic. I loved going to church with my grandma. The feeling of it, the mysticism of it, I really loved it. But I didn't stay there. I didn't keep God trapped in a rule. I didn't keep God trapped in dogma. And by doing that, I didn't keep myself trapped into I can't because this rule or this institution says that I can't or that I'm a sinner or so. So release your faith. Take it into action. Take one step every day. Example, if you want to lose weight, begin to drink a little bit more water every day. Begin to walk 10 minutes per day. Maybe the next day, 11 minutes. If you cannot walk, maybe where you are sitting, begin to move your neck. Begin to move your arms. Begin to eat a little bit better. Begin to think better thoughts. Begin to take these little steps like the tea. Little drop and little drop. Very soon your cup of faith will be full. And when you drink it, just the fact that you know you can take your faith into action, you will have instant calm and you will feel what many people call as the peace of God. And once that peace touches you, it's game over for the rest of the things that disturb you or that keep you separated from God itself. So recently I've been doing a journey called 21 Days of Faith in Action. It took 9 years for me to realize that 21 Days of Faith in Action movement that went global, it went all over Latin America. In 2016, let me tell you a little bit. In 2016, I was going through a divorce. I was going through one of those dark nights of the soul that people say there's only one dark night. I believe there's a gazillion. And, it's like one after the other after the other. But that was a tough one for me. And during that time, I sat down to write myself a letter, imagining that I was having a conversation with God. And imagining that God was writing the letter. And imagining that God was giving me instructions. And as I received all the instructions, as I received all the guidance that I was in agreement with, right? Because I was the one writing the letter, imagining God writing it to me. But suddenly I wrote down, you got to do 21 Days of Faith in Action. I was like, wait, what is that? And I couldn't stop writing the same thing. Some people call it automatic writing. I don't know what it was. I was like, I'm exhausted. I keep writing the same thing. And then it said, and I wanted to share it with people. I called a dear friend of mine that I think she is the representation of what my faith in action is. Because each time I call her, hey, Rebe is her name. I want to open a network television. She's like, yes, let's do it. It's going to be easy. I'm going to do a movement of this, a workshop of this, things that don't make sense to people. And she said, like, yes, let's do it. It's going to be amazing. I already see it. So as soon as she says that, I'm like, let's do it. I believe in my faith even stronger when I have the reflection of someone else believing also in me. And we did a movement called 21 Days of Faith in Action. She said, let's invite 7 people. Maybe we're 7. And it went viral. It went to hundreds of thousands of people in Latin America, in Colombia, in Spain. It was so unexpected. I was doing it on Facebook. I was doing it without makeup. I was doing gaining weight, losing weight. But I took the faith into action, that journey. And then I repeated several iterations of business, faith in action for the house, boot camps, etc. But it was not until 2024 at the end that I received that I had to do it again. And so I did it again in 2025, 21 Days of Faith in Action journey called The Power of Living. And that's the moment. It's 9 years later, like the cycle of the womb, 9 months, but this is 9 years. That's when I felt I'm ready to write the book. So very soon, if not when this video comes out, the book Faith in Action is coming out. One in English and one in Spanish because the movement I did it for Latin America. And I wrote other books and I was so hesitant, which one should I publish? I'm not very good at just focus on one thing, evidently, I think I have ADD, attention diversified in divinity, that I'm always creating this, that. But this time I knew I had to work on that book. I knew I had to deliver. It's very similar to the 21 Days Faith in Action journey pilgrimage that we have online. That is between 30 minutes to 40 minutes every day that anybody can join, anytime, any year. Literally, you just go to my website, YvonneDelaflor.com, and there will be it. Or you can send that email to support@delaflorteachings.com, and you can join. And the investment is $21. $1 per day, and you can have this evergreen program, and the book is coming out. And hopefully more books later, but first is the book of Faith in Action. I also, thanks to all of this of faith, I have an event, live events of the Power of Scientific Prayer, which is all under the umbrella of Faith in Action that are happening once a year in Mexico. And I'm excited for those. And I also get to serve people one-on-one. I'm a family constellations therapist. I'm the creator of a system called Transcendental Rebirthing, which combines rebirthing, somatic work, trauma, healing, integration. And I've done this for more than 20 years. And I also am the trainer and master trainer of something called Futuring. I have certified facilitators. And Futuring is something that, I help people work with their past, heal the trauma, understand family constellations, then be very present in the moment. But I notice people then say, now what? I'm like, okay, now it's time to take your faith into action. Let's future it. Let's start with the end in mind. Let's bring it into manifestation. Let's think what you do want. And so I bring that in the equation of all my work, one-on-one. I do public speaking, and this is how I serve others. And the most important, I do tea ceremonies. And when I say I do tea ceremonies, I believe that I just sit down here. This is where all of these doings, all of these rushes, all of these scales complete. This is where I sit and I pour myself a cup of gratitude for the challenges, for the blessings, for the people I get to serve. And I get to empty my cup every day, empty my cup. After serving, after teaching, after loving, after failing, and every day is a new day of more hope, of more possibility of calm, of serving others, and of taking our faith into action. So if you would like to join and strengthen your muscle of faith into action, you can go to our website, YvonneDelaflor.com, and there is a lot of free programs there. There is this 21 Days of Faith in Action programs that gives you access to all of the replays. It gives you access to a private Facebook group where the community of Faith in Action is there. And people are joining, in different months at different times, and everybody's taking their faith into action. There's a lot of testimonials there too about taking their faith into action. In our website, you can also see our other offerings, our possibility of working one-on-one or in live events that we have. And most important, you will be, joining the community where for a free newsletter, and also when our book is published. The book is published. It's going to be through my website, 21 Days of Faith in Action, and it's very similar to the online pilgrimage. It's a book designed for people to take action. It's not a book only to read. It's a book that as you read it, you will take action. You will strengthen the muscle of your faith. It helps for everything: business, finances, relationships, deepening your connection to God, to the infinite, and especially with that numinous, powerful self. So join us. You can go on my website, YvonneDelaflor.com. And when the book Faith in Action comes out, please support us. You can also listen to our podcast, Spirituality Now Podcast. We are in all platforms of your preferred podcast platform. We're also on YouTube. And the more you support us, the better, because we have been mainly philanthropic throughout our lives. And so your support means a lot to us. We do a lot of philanthropy supporting the animals too. And we just take our faith into action. This is the gift my mom gave me. And my duty with Faith in Action is to pass it on and help people restore the power of self-faith and take their faith in action too.